My earliest TV memories are of watching Saturday morning cartoons, of course, Batman at night, and I also remember The Little Drummer Boy during Christmas. As far as sports, I remember parts of the '68 Olympics, and I remember watching a USC nighttime game that O.J. Simpson was in, and I watched a boxing event, and probably it was Ali and Frazier. I've probably seen just about every big-time fight in the early '70s, well, and the '80s, and the '90s, and then I dropped off on boxing. My earliest memories of sports cards were the 1970 Topps baseball my dad brought home for me. Then he brought home the tall boy basketball. But my favorite cards, well, 1970 Topps football started off with the 49er legend, Gene Washington. Yep. It was the card I put on my windowsill when I was in kindergarten. Slightly faded, has soft corners and one big wrinkle, probably from looking at it in bed before I went to sleep. It's like that because it was my favorite. I was a Viking fan because of Joe Kapp, who went to the University of California. He was a Bear, and my dad saw him play football and basketball for Cal quite a few times during Joe's spell at Cal. They called him the toughest Chicano. But when it comes down to my favorite football cards that I own, it's 1971 Topps. Those are my favorites. Me and my dad got those on Football Sunday before the first game would start. Me and my dad would drive a couple blocks down to Lombardo's Donut Shop. I'd go in and look through the glass at all these donuts, even though I already knew what I was going to get, a glazed donut. Then I'd take a couple of steps over to the cash register and take one pack of cards out of the box that's on that clean, shiny white counter. Then we'd get home, turn on the game, sit down at the table, and I'd eat my donuts with some milk, go wash my hands, and open up a pack of 1971 Topps football. Yup, ended up with the whole set. And then some. Had a bunch of doubles. I still remember pulling this Allen page here. I love this 71 set because it has everything. Cartoon bio on the back that shows players' entire stats, which I always appreciated. The backs have that unique color combo. That's pretty cool. Black, gray, and gold. And the red and blue colors on the front that distinguished red for the AFC and blue for the NFC. Colors, they were just so vivid and bright, and they still are. There's that image of a cartoon football character in the corner depicting the player's position. I always like the one with the quarterback. Shows a muscle-bound guy throwing a pass. All the cartoon players are great. Then there were the All-Star cards, which you're looking at here, which are twice as cool because they were both blue and red, which meant they were All-Stars. As I was getting this show ready, pulling out some cards from the binders and a variety of places, I noticed that 71 Topps did have a lot of headshots. I didn't realize it, but yeah, quite a few teams had just mug shots. Yeah, not this one here. Mugshot. Mugshot, my favorite Charlie Kruger card. Redskins had some bad headshots, and the Bengals, the Patriots, Niners. Joe Kapp got hammered as a Patriot. Worst season ever for him. I did a story on Joe, a part 1 story. I need to do a part 2 and show his program, which is behind you. I should say behind Joe Kapp, one of his Cal Bear programs. Unless I'm mistaken, this here Dennis Shaw card and that Joe Kapp card are the first Topps cards where the player is shown playing in the actual game, not on the sidelines or the usual staged pose. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'd appreciate that. The first in action base card. So I'll hit you with a little red-blue theme as we get started here. That's a rookie Mike Phipps. I've shown you the matching Claude Humphrey 3D I have. That's good old Garo Premium before he went to number 1. Got the Brady bunch showed up watching practice. Mike Brady brought the kids to watch practice. There's a rookie Ron Johnson. You've seen his matching 3D. Nice looking Walter Johnson. Great clouds in the background. Don't get too many tougher than Ray Nitschke. One of my favorite cards right there. His last. Still got some red-blue cards, AFC, NFC going. Somebody got in the way of Gene's photo. I'd be mad. Here's a rookie Lamar Parrish. Talk about Bengal headshots. He's got his head in the clouds and he's kind of fuzzy. Poor guy. Sharp card though. Speaking of sharp cards, I got the matching Dave Herman 3D. That stripe going right down the field is awesome. That's probably one of my nicest cards I like for the 71. But then I keep seeing stuff like this. Rookie Mercury Morris. Like, that's cool. Holding the ball. I love the clouds in the back. Here's a way off Juice. I have the matching insert for that. Oh, we've started going into all reds. Let me get some of the blues here. These are raw out of the binder. Sacrifice for the show. My man Tommy Nobis. Still can't believe he's not in the Hall of Fame. Is that true? Is that right? Falcons had a great set of photos on 71. All with the stadium in the background. Super cool. Oh, okay. Back to the red. See, another one of my favorites. How can you, like, pick one favorite? Very cool, Gary Pettigrew. Eagles had some good cards too. This is definitely one of the sharpest as far as brightness. Howard Kindig. I didn't really put too much thought into what cards I was going to pull out. I tried to represent every team, but I have some other cards that are in a box I didn't feel like pulling out, which I should have, sorry. For my pal Andy at D's Collection, he could have seen Larry Wilson All-Star card. Here's a Brian at Bear Cards 34. A rookie Bobby Douglas. Another great card. Because of the photo. That's why. Like that Lance Allworth. That's one of my favorite cards. That I had that matching 3D too. Sorry for this gap in the footage. But it's worth it, right? Yeah, it's worth it to see Gale. Nice clean shot of Gale. Now it's time for a series of shout-outs to all of those out there who I support them, either for their content, their military service, or teaching and coaching our youth. And because I'm not a tech guy, don't know how to link, don't know how to hashtag, I have to do all my shout-outs the old-fashioned way. Me talking to you, sorry about that. I know it does nothing for your promotion or advancing your viewers, because it's so buried deep down in one of Tom's obscure videos. But hey, it's my way to thank you, your channels, and your shows that I always watch, time willing. And it just happens to be you are the same guys that watch my show. So everybody I'm going to thank you very much. Starting off, of course, you see a cowboy there. And you know I always give lots of praise to my pal Terry at TJ Maxx, Vintage Cards and Nostalgia. Thanks, Terry, for the great talks. When you said you're doing your channel for your family, those were the words that inspired me to start my channel. From the start, your YouTube message got the ball rolling. I didn't tell my friends or family about my channel because I didn't want pity subs. Only a few of my family members knew about it, and of course my brother because he set it up. But I wanted the subs to be from collectors and people who like souvenir programs, vintage autographs, can appreciate the art aspect of those items. Even an obscure baseball player's autograph. The signatures are very cool. I never really thought about it until I started getting into it. Maybe someday I'll tell my friends and family about the channel. But what? That I have a show about a bunch of people they don't know, and some old magazines with pretty pictures on the covers. Moving on. Undrafted player, Fabian. Thanks, Fabian. You were also there from the start, making me laugh with your humor. Love the variety of unique items you find over there in France, and really like your garden tours. Plus, undrafted player. That's the best name on YouTube. Andy at D's Collection. Again, Andy, sorry I didn't pull out some St. Louis stuff for you. Just turned out that way. But I feel closest to your channel because our shows are both family shows, and many episodes reflect that. Nothing is more important than family. I watch the shows where guys talk about their personal connections to their collection and family. Vintage Card Steve. Thanks, Steve. You were also there from the start. Your shout-outs helped my channel and no doubt countless others you've helped out over the years. You are what's called a super supporter. Chris at Stories and Cardboard is such a great guy. Like all my commentators, he always leaves thoughtful messages. He's one of those guys who I look forward to his content. Same with Sports Cards Connections. I wish he had more episodes. I don't know much about that guy, but Sports Cards Connections, I really like that. Mike, the Sports History Collector. A great show with a military theme, just like my show, and just like a lot of your guys' shows out there. I know Buddha is beautiful, but around here, God is great. Who I see everywhere on YouTube. God lives in Japan, which might surprise some, and he supports all. Another super supporter. I visit him and Fabian on Saturday nights with Tony, aka Sensei Domino 15. On Tony's show, Spine Ticks After Dark, he shows cards nobody else really shows. And best voice on YouTube. Junior, baseball fanatic, Liam and his family. Thanks a lot, you guys. Liam is a young man who other young men should emulate. His family show supports so many people, including me. Shout out Diego, Sports Card Detour, and my main man, Clousy420 at UFC and random stuff. He keeps it raw and funny. Best UFC breakdowns on YouTube. This ends this series of shoutouts. Oh, wait, hold on. I'll edit that out. We can edit that out, right, Ed? What? Oh, that's right. I don't do edits. So, grab my Bart Star for Scott at Stuke's Baseball Cards and Curiosities. I like calling him Stuke. That's his Gramps. He has sports items you didn't know existed, and now you want. And to continue on a little bit here with for my boy Stuke, get Donnie Anderson. Yeah, he kind of relates to a Travis Williams story I got coming up. If I had put more thought and time into this, I could have done some personalization with each of the cards. Like for this guy here I'm going to talk about. He's my chance to introduce someone new to the group. A guy who I just found, and his show is along the same lines as these other guys I've mentioned and myself. His name is Bob Cooper, and his show is called In the Beginning, where he profiles and talks about Jewish ball players. He's just getting going with 5 episodes. Good stuff. Gotta wrap this up quick. But my biggest thanks goes to those who watch my show and then take the extra time to comment, even though I don't take the time to comment on theirs. That really means a lot to me, and I don't take that for granted. It's all about time, and there isn't enough of it, so I sped up my voice. In the long run, though, the show is for my family, as well as the family of the players I talk about, whether it's baseball, football, basketball. Trying to keep the memories and stories of what these ball players have accomplished during their lifetime. Almost all of these men were really good people. The majority of these very young, in many cases still teens, joined the war effort without being asked. Many actually fought in the war overseas, coming back to a hero's welcome, depending upon which war you fought in. It was usually short-lived welcome. I don't think anyone who came back from the war was the same. Which war? Pick one. It doesn't matter. Everybody came back with physical or emotional problems or both. I feel privileged to be able to sit here at this particular time in history and do what I can do to honor what these men did to entertain their fans, take care of their families, and serve their country. like my dad did and his father had done before him.